When you're gaming, why not be comfy? Go over to supportplayer.org. Click on the cards, pieces, and dice to get some merch. These t-shirts are some of the most comfortable I have ever worn. That's supportplayer.org, and there's a link on eatlunchandboardgame.com. Facebook got me again. I am an easy target for ads about board games. I had heard of this one, but when the ad hit and I clicked over, it was only $50, so I had to order Farms Race. It is the debut game from Medium Brow Games. What a great name, by the way, for a game company. This publisher was founded by one of the creators of Cards Against Humanity, Daniel Drenove. The other designer credited is Tom Weiner, and this is his first game. So, what drew me to Farms Race? It looked and sounded like Catan-ish. The box art was beautiful. Intrigued, I did some digging into it. Turns out the rules are available on BoardGameGeek, so I gave them a peek. I was on the fence, but when the targeted ad hit me, I went for it. Farms Race crosses Catan with Risk by way of George Orwell. In Farms Race, you take the role of a mutated supreme leader of a farm animal and its herds, the chickens, cows, sheep, or pigs. From the game rulebook itself, it is stated as, and I quote, "Radioactive waste from local power plants has granted you and your fellow farm animals both sentience and an insatiable hunger for power. Now you must annihilate the humans and each other in this dystopian parody of Euro-style gaming." This made me laugh. It truly is the gist and heart of the game. So, gather your herd of friends, become a supreme leader, and try to take over the region in Farms Race. Welcome back to Lunch and Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins. Let's take a look at the rule clarity for Farms Race. The rulebook can look a bit intimidating. It is 12 pages long and a full 9 by 12 inches in size. The rules are really just pages 2 through 9. They are quite clear, maybe not in the most logical order, but everything is there. After reading through them, the included reference guide is pretty much all you'll need. There are plenty of examples to help you understand some of the less clear rules. Time to explain to newcomers. With the initial playthrough done, I feel that the teach on this should take about 15 minutes, but no more than 20. As with a lot of modern games, there are a lot of rules that seem finicky at first, but once you play it, they all make sense. Gameplay. Setting up Farms Race can be a bit tedious. They recommend not doing a random board with random starting positions. They give you 5 layouts for each a 3 and 4 player count. There is also a suggestions box for you to make your own map. We stuck with the initial 3-player setup in the rules for our first game. Place the hexagon region tiles as shown in the rules. Then each player selects an animal to be the supreme leader of. Take the character card, which doubles as a reference card, in all the colored buildings and herd tokens. And then in turn order, each player will select a starting region that is outlined in red in the rulebook. Place a barn and 2 herds in that region. The player going last will take a resource. In a full 4-player game that I still strive to play, the 3rd player takes 1 resource and the 4th player takes 2 to offset being in those positions. These resources can be whatever resource the player wants. Next, shuffle and deal 2 mutation cards. Each player will select 1 to keep and discard the other. These mutation cards will give you a special ability throughout the game. Lastly, place a human token on each empty region filling the board, human side up, careful not to look at the number on the bottom. It is now time to take over the world. A turn has 4 phases. The first phase is the preparation phase. Simply place a new herd on a region with one of your buildings on it. If you have no herds left to place, then it is time to attack other players. After the preparation phase is complete, the active player can build, and this can be done in phases 2 or 3. You can build a new barn, upgrade a barn to an armory, build a nuke, yes, a nuke, or purchase a spy. Phase 2 is actions. You can take as many actions, repeat actions, and do them in any order as you see fit. Actions are attacking humans or attacking other players, called combat. Here are the guidelines to attacking and combat. Each herd can move just one adjacent hexagon. Something to keep in mind, however, as long as one of your wooden tokens occupies a region, you control it. This is important in Phase 3. When moving your herds, if you move into a region containing a human token, you must attack them. Make sure you have all the herds in the region you want to be there before flipping the token to reveal the number. Then flip it. The number 1 through 3 is the strength of the humans that you will have to defeat. You roll as many of the red combat dice as you have herds. Another player will roll as many combat dice as the human's token displays. You, as the attacker, are looking for either symbol result, the human head or the gun. The humans are only looking for the gun. To resolve, any hit kills the wimpy 1 hit point humans. Each herd has 2 hit points. You, as a supreme leader, get to dole out the damage from the humans as you like. For example, you could give 1 hit to 2 different herds, flipping them from the healthy side to the damaged side, which shows the red heart, or you could give both hits to 1 herd, removing it. Either could be strategic. If you haven't eradicated the humans after 1 round, you, as the attacker, have 2 options: keep attacking or retreat. To keep attacking, each side adjusts the amount of dice to the remaining soldiers. To retreat, all herds must return to the region from which they came. Of course, if you invade another player's region, combat ensues. Combat boils down to your herds against theirs. 1 die for each herd on each side is rolled, and only gun results count. Dish out the damage to your herds and retreat or continue the combat. Key things to note: any building on a region provides no additional dice, and if the region is lost, the building is automatically destroyed. In the event of a successful combat, the player taking over the region receives a victory token, and the region goes into turmoil, marked by a different token. These turmoil tokens are removed at the start of the winning player's next turn. Any region in turmoil can be attacked, but no victory point would be awarded. Now let's talk about the nukes. That's right, nuclear bombs. You can build a nuclear bomb with 1 ammo, 1 plutonium, and 1 brick resource card. If you are the first to do so, you also become the nukiest player. Yes, they use the word nukiest. This is a bonus tile worth 1 victory point. However, if any player ever exceeds your count of nukes, they get the tile. Okay, now that we know how to get them and the bonus, let's talk about deploying one. You can drop a nuke on any region adjacent to one you control. This does 1 damage to every herd in that region or kills every human, since they only have 1 hit point each. You can do this before attacking or combat. However, if you nuke a rival, if they have a nuke, they can return the favor before you advance your herds, and this can go back and forth a few times until you're both out of nukes, or out of herds. After all combat and actions have been resolved, you move to the resource phase, which is Phase 3. During Phase 3, the active player rolls the 2 dice, the 2 resource dice. The results shown will tell you which regions produce that turn, and any player with control of a region matching the die gets 1 resource. A question mark allows the active player to decide which resource produces, and again, anybody with that region controlled also receives a card. You can only trade during the game with the non-active player, which is a change from Catan, so make sure you do all your trading before your turn starts. Lastly, let's talk about spies. These are similar to development cards in Catan. They can offer helpful actions such as avoid a nuke, draw resource cards, steal cards, or even have buried victory points. When one supreme leader reaches the required 10 points, the game is over. Barns are worth 1 point, armories are worth 2 points, add victory points for defeating your fellow players, hidden spy cards you might contain, and if you're the nukiest, add in that point. Tally 10 to win. Replayability. I have played this game twice so far, and after both games, it has left me wanting to set it up and play it again. Edward had the same thought after our game. The fact that there are 11 mutation cards, I can see this being the main source of replayability, as well as the modular board. They offer a lot of different ways for the herds and dice and cards to work. Component quality. Farms Race is overproduced in all the right ways. The region hexes, the mutation placards, the reference cards, character cards, and all the punch-outs are a nice, thick chipboard. The resource and spy cards are standard quality. The dice are all nice screen-printed D6s. The herd, barn, and armory tokens are all wooden, and for the most part, customized shapes. The barns look like a settlement from Catan, but other than that, they all look fresh and new. Lunchtime potential. Probably. Maybe not. It would be close. A little longer than Catan, but definitely under 90 minutes. I would label Farms Race as a Friday game. Both games that I have played have been 3-player. The first took about 45 minutes, the second took about an hour. So I would say Friday for sure. Artwork. The artwork by Michael Zhang fits the theme and feel of the game seamlessly. I love the way each of the Supreme Leaders is depicted. The spy cards are great. All the region and resource cards, along with the box art and even the rulebook cover, just look perfect. Hammering in the Orwellian feel, the box insert has some small art stating, "Pig Brother is watching." Love it. This is the only game that Michael Zhang has done the art for, and I look forward to more. Which seems like an odd thing to say about a board game artist, but it truly is amazing. Other. BoardGameGeek lists a deluxe version with no pictures, no details other than it offers more deluxe pieces and some expansion parts. I do not know how they could deluxify this game anymore. There is no other information on this edition on the company's site either. However, some digging around on the pictures of the BoardGameGeek page for the base game, you can see that the punch-outs have been replaced with tokens of either clay or wood. It's hard to tell. There's also a cloth bag to draw the human tokens from. Expansions. Not at this time, but I can see you could easily expand upon this like Catan. You could add more players and tiles. You could add more mutations. You could add all sorts of new elements to this game. I look forward to any crazy future expansions. Bang for the buck. I was worried it would not be worth the $50 I just up and paid for it. Rest easy. Farms Race was fantastic. My friend John, who played it with my sister and I, was mad that it was so good. He feels compelled to buy his own copy of it. As usual, I reminded him that he can always just borrow my copy, but he bought it anyway. I feel this game will get a lot of playing time. I do hope that a 5-6 extension gets released, as my standard gaming group fluctuates between 3 and 6 on the regular. Summary. I have no regrets on purchasing Farm Race by Medium Brow Games, other than it makes me more of a target for Facebook ads. Being a very recently released game, it only has 147 ratings on BoardGameGeek, but it stands tall and proud with an 8.1. I do love how Daniel and Tom took Catan and Risk, mashed them together to create this hilariously fun and strategic game. I will leave you with this George Orwell, quote-unquote, quote. Did you hear the news? My novel 1984 is being moved to nonfiction. And with that, you can always reach out to me at facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame. Find me on the website, eatlunchandboardgame.com. Give us some suggestions. Give us some feedback. You can also find me on Board Game Arena. Just simply search for Eat Lunch and Board Games. Send me a friend request, and maybe we'll get a few games in. And as always, you can email me at eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com. And remember, board games build bridges.